A beautiful, beautiful, beautiful Monday morning to you. Good morning and welcome to another interesting, exciting, educative segment of iBrand Daybreak this beautiful morning. We have a lot for you on the show today, starting from lots and lots of segments you would not want to meet. My name is Margaret Opera. And as usual, I'm not doing this alone. My amazing colleague is with me in the studio. Michael Nat, good morning.
Good morning, Margaret.
How was your weekend?
My weekend, how do I put it now?
It was amazing.
We expected the protests, but it was it didn't make quite an impact.
You think so?
No, it didn't. It wasn't. So much hype was given to it, but at the end of the day,
as no, people were scared.
Really?
That's the thing. Shops were locked. On the island, there's really nothing happening. Yes. But on the mainland, some places, I know shops were locked. People were scared to come out. Everywhere looked like it was there was curfew, something like that.
Well,
lockdown.
Definitely, we're going to talk more about it.
Oh,
There's
yeah,
so much to say about it as the program progresses. Right now, as usual, we've got for you on the show news updates, paper review. We've got a topic of discussion. Stay around and know what we have in store for you. Quite interesting. You can cross our hearts. Sports and, social media buzz. That is, if time permits, from the way things are this morning. Right now, let's bring you the news updates. 2 women, including our Reverend Sister, have been kidnapped at various points in Imo State. In the first incident, a Reverend Sister was abducted at Adim Nanunme Isu in Nwangele Council area of the state a few minutes after a kidnap incident took place at Ohi. It was guarded the Reverend Sister, whose identity is unknown, was driving when the kidnappers forced her to stop. In the second incident, the kidnappers stormed St. Philip's Anglican Church, Ohi Parish in Owerri West local government area of the state at about 7:45 a.m. and also kidnapped one Ikenna Onwu Soro Aka.
All right, now the police command in Akwa Ibom State says it has repelled an attack launched by suspected hoodlums on Inni divisional station in Odoroikpe in the state. The police public relations officer SP Odiko MacDonald confirmed the attack. Now, MacDonald told newsmen in Uyo that the attack on the division was repelled by officers and men of the Operation Restore Peace recently launched by the Inspector General of Police. He, however, said the command lost 1 personnel in the attack who was hit by a bullet and was rushed to a hospital for treatment but later died.
Now, Borno State Governor Professor Babagana Umara Zulum says Boko Haram fighters now lure recruits with as low as 5,000 naira. The governor also revealed how his government sustained the fight against insurgents in the state in the last 2 years. He made the revelations in his statewide broadcast to commemorate this year's Democracy Day and his 2nd anniversary in office, stating that of all Nigeria's 36 states, none is faced with the level of insecurity as it is being experienced in Borno State.
Now on the Africa scene, Pope Francis has offered his prayers for the people of Ethiopia's Daybreak region hit by hunger and famine and appealed for an end to child labor in the world. Fighting since November between Ethiopia's government and the region upstart ruling party, the Daybreak People's Liberation Front (TPLF) has displaced more than 2 million people. More than 350,000 of Tigray's nearly 6 million people are living in famine conditions, and according to analysis by United Nations agencies for global aid groups. Now, the number of child laborers has increased to 160 million from 152 million in 2016, but the greatest rise in Africa due to population growth, crisis, and poverty, said the International Labour Organization (ILO) and the United Nations Children's Funds (UNICEF).
Benjamin Netanyahu's 12-year run as Israel's prime minister has ended, with Parliament approving a new government of change led by nationalist Naftali Bennett. Heading into the opposition, Netanyahu, the most dominant Israeli politician of his generation, pledged he would soon return to power. In a raucous session, Parliament voted confidence in Bennett's new administration by a razor-thin 60 to 59 majority. A former defense minister and a high-tech millionaire, Bennett, was due to be sworn in shortly after the vote. His alliance includes, for the first time in Israel's history, a party that represents its 21% Arab minority.
Right now, we'll take a short break. When we come back, we'll delve right into the newspaper review. Stay with us.
Swift Dry Cleaners Limited, professional dry cleaners, best in dry cleaning and laundry services, and meets the needs of our consumers. Yeah, Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Yeah. Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Yeah, for clean wash and quick delivery. Yeah, Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. For clean wash and quick delivery. Ooh.
Swift Dry Cleaners. Clean wash.
Oh boy, winning you was so easy.
I just couldn't stand those your powerful shots. That's what happened.
Really? Let's go to my place for dinner.
This fufu is so nice.
It's through unripe plantain flour.
True unripe plantain flour is delicious.
Yes, true unripe plantain flour is what I serve my husband for swallows. It's easy to prepare, fortified with vitamin A, low in sugar and cholesterol, rich in fiber that helps the heart, builds and strengthens the bone, and his energy level is boosted.
Through unripe plantain flour, no additives, 100% natural, a product of Pali Agro Products Nigeria. Through unripe plantain flour, available in all leading stores.
Most people don't understand the magic of a perfect skin, the allure of a well-pampered skin. We bounce from skincare products to skincare products, from spa to spa. Looking for that ideal solution. I found the solution. And it's Blemiviv Skincare and Spa. My name is Neil, and I'm proud to be a part of the Blemiviv family.
Swift Dry Cleaners Limited, professional dry cleaners, best in dry cleaning and laundry services, and meets the needs of our consumers. Yeah, Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Yeah. Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Yeah, for clean wash and quick delivery. Yeah, Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. For clean wash and quick delivery. Ooh.
Swift Dry Cleaners. Clean wash.
Lagos. Banga. Baby, Mama just called me now. She's coming to see you. She asked me to tell you to make banga soup for her. And she's close to the house. Oh.
How do you expect me to prepare banga in just few minutes?
I have a solution for you.
Really?
If you no sabi cook the banga, you no go enter my family.
Pali banga is used in making other exotic dishes such as banga jollof rice, banga efo riro, banga asaro or yam porridge, banga egusi, and many more. Pali banga is easy to open, no preservatives, no cholesterol, and no coloring. Approved by NAFDAC. Manufactured by Pali Agro Products Limited. Available in all leading stores and supermarkets nationwide.
Pali banga, natural palm fruit extracts for tasty African cuisine.
Oh boy, winning you was so easy.
I just couldn't stand those your powerful shots. That's what happened.
Really? Let's go to my place for dinner.
This fufu is so nice.
It's true unripe plantain flour.
True unripe plantain flour is delicious.
Yes, true unripe plantain flour is what I serve my husband for swallows. It's easy to prepare. Fortified with vitamin A, low in sugar and cholesterol, rich in fiber that helps the heart, builds and strengthens the bone, and his energy level is boosted.
Through unripe plantain flour, no additives, 100% natural, a product of Pali Agro Products Nigeria. Through unripe plantain flour, available in all leading
Hello there, and you are warmly welcome to this very segment of the show. This is the time we bring you the headlines in some of today's Nigerian dailies, and we have right here in the studio public affairs analyst in the name of Deborah Adeniro. Good morning, sir, and welcome to the show.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Welcome again.
It's my pleasure.
Right.
All right. Well, raising the curtain right away with the Punch. Buhari's Cow Roots Gazette doesn't exist. Grazing ban stays, say states. With riders, show us grazing route in Ondo if it exists. Akeredolu's aide tells federal government no part of Benue designated as grazing route, says Governor Otom. Law, not a federal law. Buhari lacks powers to implement it. Senator. Now, let's move to the very topmost portion of the paper. Oil price. Experts dismiss gains as subsidy nears 200 billion naira. 936 students abducted from Nigerian schools in 6 months. Anonymous group writes Okoa threatens attack over grazing ban. And let's take the last one from the Punch. Islamist joins Israeli government as PM, that's Prime Minister Netanyahu, loses vote to opposition.
Now moving to the Garden paper, the top story says Twitter, Facebook undecided on federal government licensing order as loses rise. With the writer saying Nigerians ignore India's coup for Twitter, trend June 12 protest. Social media influencers others count losses to tune of 35 billion naira in 10 days. Now on my left part of the paper says the 720 billion naira subsidy burden presses harder as oil prices retains rally. The page 3 has the full story. Moving on, bandits renew attacks in Imo. Policeman IBOP supporter others fear dead in a Akwa Ibom attack. Now to my right, police confirm kidnap of 12 persons in Zaria. 11,000 new TB cases identified in Lagos, Ogun, others in 1 year. That's the tuberculosis cases. And Israeli coalition boasts Netanyahu's prime minister after 12 years. World Blood Donor Day. 95% of blood donor units used in Nigeria unsafe, experts warn.
To the Nigerian Tribune now. Food prices soar, push more Nigerians into poverty. With riders, farmers in Katsina, Zamfara, Sokoto blame banditry, kidnapping. A federal government speaks on recovery plan. And bandits abduct 8 family members in Zaria, convoke sovereign national conference, decentralized police. Anglican Church tells federal government. Now, 800 billion naira supplementary budget. Our army has no excuse not to defeat insurgency in Dume. Amnesty International Serap, 69 others CSOs ask Buhari to reverse ban on Twitter. Rider want UN, AU to pressure federal government.
Now, moving on to the nation from the top to the bottom. The top says, Ndume with 800 billion naira extra votes, no excuse for the military. Woman sells 2 daughters for 300,000 naira. Suspect held in Ogun. Page 4 has that story. Now, Forex reserves hit 4-year low. Gunmen kill policeman in attack on station. Uber driver arrested with cocaine. Buhari orders greet Abdul Salami at 79. Now, the top story says government considers pension for MKO's next of kin, King Gibe. With writer saying this democracy is not what Abiola died for, says his son, Kola. Insurance firms mergers coming. World leaders okay Tokyo 2020. Air Force didn't bomb party guest. Bennett replaces Netanyahu as Prime Minister. And now G7 okay 650 billion US dollar loan for IMF to end COVID-19. Lastly, Nigerians seek urgent action on electricity crisis. With riders saying homes, firms remain in darkness. This courts blame it on low supply. Page 2 and 3 has that story. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us today.
It's my pleasure.
Yeah, welcome once again.
Yeah.
Right now, we move to of all the stories. Now we're still in the spirit of democracy. You know, on Saturday was Democracy Day, and today is a public holiday for Democracy Day. And the Nation, the top story on the Nation paper says government considers pension for MKO's next of kin, King Gibe. And now the son of Abiola, Kola, is saying this democracy is not what Abiola died for. I know when you were on the show on the Democracy Special, you spoke a lot about this. I'm sure you have something to say.
Yeah, thank you very much. I wouldn't know, I can't remember the content of the pensions law, whether the next of kin can take it on behalf of their progenitors. I wouldn't know. But if that is allowed under the law, I believe that the families of Abiola, those that can inherit his estate, deserve to be paid. In fact, we have said that Abiola should no longer be referred to as president-elect. It wasn't his fault that he was not sworn in, and he ought to be referred to as a former president, a former president that wasn't allowed to reign. And Omfruwosu should, of course, has come out to declare that he won that election. So there's no doubting the fact that Abiola was a former president, even when he was not sworn in. So he should be accorded with complete honor. Yes, we agree that GCFR that he was awarded, the national honor that he was awarded was good. That is what every other person that has occupied the office of the president has. But then he should go a step further, hang his portrait in the State House, Abuja, Asorok, and refer to him. If Shonekon can be there, don't forget that Shonekon's interim national government was declared illegal by Justice Akinsanya. That is who took over after Babangida stepped aside. An interim national government was put in place where Shonekon headed. That is Ernesto Shonekon chief. And Justice Akinsanya said it was illegal. Okay, so if Shonekon's portrait will still remain in Nasorok, then Abiola's portrait should be there. Now, about whether or not he deserved the pension. Of course, if that. But then Baba Gana Kijibe chicken out at the critical moment. His history should not be amended to show him as a hero. Humphrey Wosu also didn't complete his assignment as the NEC chairman. He could have braved the odds and complete the announcement of the result, because he already, I mean, the results were already known to every Tom, Dick, and Harry that is in this landscape during that period. Like I said the other time, ballots were counted and announced there and then at the polling booths, and it was collated by people. And all of these results were in the hand of people because it was open ballot system. Now, so if anybody will be declared a hero or that deserve to be paid pensions and all that, Kingibe should be excluded because he chicken out. He disowned Abiola at the critical moment. He joined those traducers, you know, and so a traitor should not be glorified in Nigeria. Kingibe played the role of a traitor, and I don't have the doubt that he will be mentioned anytime the names or the list of those who actually urged the military to another election result was, I mean, it's mentioned. He was a man with some honor. You know, he's a Kanuri. It's not a Fulani. He's not an Hausa man. He wasn't a Fulani man. But as a Kanuri man, Kanuri people are known to be steadfast. Abacha himself was a Kanuri. You know, and you know, despite being a despot, he was steadfast in what he wanted to do. And there are a number of policies that he put in place that were actually pro-people. If not because he turned out to be what he became, a despot, you know, his name will have been written in gold. The reason why people gave him the opportunity of ruling us was because of the statement he made during one of the passing out ceremony of the officers' training, you know, where he glorified democracy as the best form of government. So he said a lot of things that endeared him to the heart of people. It's just that it's like there's a bug that bites all the military people that get into the powerhouse that make them not want to relinquish power anymore. But then we didn't have the opportunity of listening to Abacha. You know, we didn't know why he did what he did. We didn't know why he brought his deputy down. That is Oladipo Dia. We didn't know why he became so, you know, brazen in in brutalizing people that helped him. That helped him to power. So we didn't know because he was not speaking out to us. We didn't know. Al-Mustafa is the one that has been talking after Abacha. So all of this combined so that, look, we just don't have to conclude on the quality of a book by mere
its cover.
Seeing its cover. So if you are looking at Abiola, of course, beyond the cover, we have seen the content of the book that he has written by his action and activities. But for Kingibe too, we know. For the former chairman of, president of NSC, Pascal Baviao, we know the roles that they play, you know, which is treachery. So all of those people cannot be compensated because some people are canvassing for them. Then those who run NEC in those days were there by chance. I mean, that was National Electoral Commission then, headed by Professor Humphrey Nwosu, should not be glorified because they were cowards. They were cowardly in doing their job. If you take a job to be done, and you know that it's a duty to your country, you should do it not minding whose ox is God. And not minding what sacrifices, what you are likely to lose as long as you are in that office, acts according to the law that establishes your agency. not according to the dictates of certain people who do not want you to succeed. And that is it. You have to commit your all into the service to your country, to your nation. You have to be patriotic from the beginning, from cradle to grave. Okay? And for those people in the neck, all of them chickened out.
Wow.
And that wasn't good for our democratic development.
Wow, lots of statements there coming from an experience.
We were there. Yeah. We were there, and we told them. We told them that what you are doing is disservice to the the development of this democracy, and that is what we are seeing today.
All right, we have a lot to talk about after now, because we are still going to mention the democracy, the fact that some protesters, there was a clampdown on protesters and hijacked protests on all of it. Like Abiola's son said, this is not democracy his father died for. But before we delve into that, we'll take a short break, and we'll be back for more of this gist after the short break. So stay with us.
Mama, you're coming to Lagos. Banga. Baby, Mama just called me now. She's coming to see you. She asked me to tell you to make banga soup for her. And she's close to the house. Oh.
How do you expect me to prepare banga in just few minutes?
I have a solution for you.
Really?
If you no sabi cook the banga, you no go enter my family.
Pali banga is used in making other exotic dishes such as banga jollof rice, banga eforiro, banga asaro or yam porridge, banga egusi, and many more. Pali banga is easy to open, no preservatives, no cholesterol, and no coloring. Approved by NAFDAC. Manufactured by Pali Agro Products Limited. Available in all leading stores and supermarkets nationwide.
Pali banga, natural palm fruit extracts for tasty African cuisine.
Oh boy, winning you was so easy.
I just couldn't stand those your powerful shots. That's what happened.
Really? Let's go to my place for dinner.
This fufu is so nice.
It's through unripe plantain flour.
True unripe plantain flour is delicious.
Yes, true unripe plantain flour is what I serve my husband for swallows. It's easy to prepare. Fortified with vitamin A, low in sugar and cholesterol, rich in fiber that helps the heart, builds and strengthens the bone, and his energy level is boosted.
Through unripe plantain flour, no additives, 100% natural, a product of Pali Agro Products Nigeria. Through unripe plantain flour, available in all leading stores.
Swift Dry Cleaners Limited, professional dry cleaners, best in dry cleaning and laundry services, that meets the needs of our consumers. Yeah, Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Yeah, for clean wash and quick delivery. Yeah, Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. For clean wash and quick delivery.
Swift Dry Cleaners. Clean wash.
Still on Daybreak today, Monday, was still celebrating June 12, which is the Democracy Day. Today is the public holiday. Now we want to look at the happenings currently in the country, especially with the nationwide protest that took place in various parts of the country. Our next guest is still the guest we have right here. Yeah, we're going to talk about the June 12 protests, the aftermath of that clampdown on protesters. Now, let's still have you here, sir. The protests, was it really called for?
Yeah, since June 12, 1993, actually there wasn't any protest on that day. It was just election that's, of which results we were protesting for. So there wasn't any protest until June 27 when the election was annulled. Even on June 27, it was close to evening before the terse message came from the PA to the then president. I think a media assistant to the president that brought out the is one of you guys. And people were taken aback that, oh, everybody was expecting, because we've been agitating that the results should be announced all along from June 12, June 32, up to June 27, it wasn't announced. Until that evening when the message came that it has been announced. Annulled.
Yeah. Yes.
Now, the following day, there was eruption everywhere, okay, all over the country, because it was a mandate voluntarily given to Abiola all over the country. No primordial sentiment was displayed, no ethnicity, no religion, no nothing. So, like I told you the other time, Abiola was a non-discriminatory, indiscriminate philanthropist. So he had built churches for people, built mosques, given scholarship, engage in businesses everywhere people can be engaged. He had a bakery, had a newspaper house, he had a radio, so he had everything. So a lot of people wanted Abiola to become the president. Then when you talk about abolition of poverty, that was his slogan, Hope 93, abolition of poverty. He wanted to do that. So everybody was hopeful that, poverty will be wiped out of our landscape. But then they were disappointed. That was what led to the beginning of the protests. And it was spontaneous all over the country. And that tradition continued till so long until interim national government, was announced. Was that okay?
Headed by Shonekon.
Headed by Shonekon. Yeah. You know what government wanted to do? Because Babangida had to step aside.
Yes.
Now, they now look for somebody who came from the same background as Abiola. He went to Ogun State. He went to Abeokuta to extract Shonekon, who was ready to take over the mantle of leadership. They have scouted around. A lot of people rejected it. They wanted somebody like Soyinka. They wanted somebody like Oye. All of these people are too decent, to be used for that kind of thing. But don't forget that Shonekon was the chairman of UAC, United African Company, a multinational. He was doing business with government, and of course, they knew that Abiola himself was in close relationship as friend and business associate with Shonekon and Shonekon. So everybody now thought that, maybe Shonekon is a good alternative for that time, pending the time they would annul the election. But instead of doing that, Abacha just came, shoved Shonekon aside. Now, a lot of people thought that, because Abacha's excuse was that the court has declared Shonekon's ING illegal, and that we cannot continue to tolerate illegality in our government house. So a lot of people thought that the statement he made during the graduation ceremony of some of the officers, training ceremony, that he was going to return the mantle of leadership back to Abiola. He didn't do that. Rather, he slapped him into jail. And when you talk about a Petedo declaration, of course, Abiola traveled out of this country because everybody that supported him had betrayed. all of those people in SDP, and part of it is what I said the other time. Babangida Kingibe, who was his running mate, has betrayed him. So he no longer trusted his party people. And because he could not trust them, he knew that his life was not safe in Nigeria because he didn't know who to talk to anymore. Before then, the Campaign for Democracy has canvassed that election should not hold, that it could not have ushered in a good democratic practice. Okay, so whatever the transition agenda of the military was flawed by what preceded the election itself. Yeah. So CD just thought that, look, now that the party is in this, was in disarray, what could be done? Abiola himself didn't trust us because we campaigned against the election that brought him in. And we actually asked people not to come out to vote. And that's the reason why you have only 40 million people voting. Right. So he didn't trust us. He didn't trust the political party that brought him to power. Now, but we needed to bring him back so as to create that foundation that we need. Foundation that we need to install democratic practice. We didn't like the election, but then we now said that it's better. The worst of civilian government is better than the best military government. Yeah. So if we have an Abiola in place to enjoy the benefit of the win that he has achieved, then it will be easier for us to fight Abiola legitimately as the next president that came in through undemocratic process.
We have to
military government.
Thank you for sharing your thoughts. We have to go on a short commercial right now. We want to play something interesting. We'll be back after the short break.
Swift Dry Cleaners Limited, professional dry cleaners, best in dry cleaning and laundry services that meets the needs of our consumers. Yeah, Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Yeah, for clean wash and quick delivery. Yeah, Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. For clean wash and quick delivery.
Swift Dry Cleaners. Clean wash.
Swift Dry Cleaners Limited.
Mama, you're coming to Lagos. Banga. Baby, Mama just called me now. She's coming to see you. She asked me to tell you to make banga soup for her. And she's close to the house. Oh.
How do you expect me to prepare banga in just few minutes?
I have a solution for you.
Really?
If you no sabi cook the banga, no go enter my family.
Pali banga is used in making other exotic dishes such as banga jollof rice, banga eforiro, banga asaro or yam porridge, banga egusi, and many more. Pali banga is easy to open, no preservatives, no cholesterol, and no coloring. Approved by NAFDAC. Manufactured by Pali Agro Products Limited. Available in all leading stores and supermarkets nationwide.
Pali banga, natural palm fruit extracts for tasty African.
You're welcome back from that short commercial. This is the iBrand Daybreak, and if you're just joining in, well, you've missed some part of the segment, but not to worry, we still have a lot of segments for you. Just stay tuned. And now our guest is still very much with us in the studio, and we're still discussing the protest, the aftermath of the clampdown of protesters. You were talking about what happened in 1993, and I want to bring it down to what happened on Saturday. what's happening in our present day in Nigeria. Protesters, I know those days there was a right to protest. So these days, you see tear gas, bullets, and everything. It seems like a war. What's happening?
Well, I was just giving background of what led to perpetual protest, because you mentioned it the other time that Kola Abiola said that it wasn't the kind of democracy that the father died for. Well, the kind of democracy the father died for cannot be ascertained. But the kind of democracy we struggled for even before the father contested the election wasn't the kind of, isn't the kind of democracy that we have now. Now, we would not know the kind of democracy that the father died for. We only knew what he promised us. We knew what we were expecting. And we knew that he was capable of doing it because he has been doing it in the places where he established his businesses. Everybody was taking on his own merit in his businesses. So the hope that he wanted to give in 93 was what we were waiting for. We wouldn't know if he would turn out to be a dictator, because remember in 1989, his businesses were attacked because everybody saw him as an agent of imperialists, an agent of military government. And don't forget also that the present president thought that Abiola financed the coup that saw him out of power when he was. So all of these combined to shroud the kind of democracy MKO fought for. But if he was given the opportunity to practice what he meant, maybe it could have been a different kind of thing. But then, talking about protest, the protest started since then that we wanted the kind of democracy we were yearning for before June 12th. And we wanted that kind of democracy to be installed, that we have not got it, even up to the time of Abu Salami Abubakar. Abubakar didn't give us it was the constitution that we are still calling 1999 constitution. It's a military decree that was changed so to constitution. Like I said the other time,
and that's what we still have up to
president today. Of course, yes, we are still trying to adjust and amend it. President Obasanjo didn't see the constitution under which he was going to run the country when he was contesting election. So he got to the office before, he had won the election before he saw the constitution. So it was not a legitimate constitution from day one. So protests should go, that was one of the reasons why protests will continue, because the constitution itself, that is supposed to be the foundation, the ground norm of the democratic practice we want to adopt, was not democratic. Okay, so if there's no democracy in the ground norm that with which the country is being administered, then everything built on it is a pack of cards. And that is why it's collapsing. Now, protests will continue until that day when every Nigerian is given the opportunity to contribute to the foundation of the government of their own country. They are given equal opportunity to participate in the governing of their own country. They are given that protection that they need under the law to do their business, legitimate business, freely and fairly and squarely. They are given protection over their property. They are given assurance that they can move any time of the day or night without harassment, by hoodlum, bandits, kidnappers, and all sorts of rapists and the rest of them. If that is not yet inputted into our governance system, then the protest will continue. But then, when you look at what is happening, some people are actually celebrating that we had a June 12th, despite all its shortcomings. So, in some cases, it was celebration like we have in Ogun State, we have in Osun State, we had in Lagos State. But then some people were protesting. Why are they protesting? They didn't like what is going on in the government of their country, in the government, in the way their lives are being administered by the federal government and by the various state government, even at local government. So they have the right to protest.
Okay.
But then the protests have to be under the ambit of the law.
All right.
You know, non-violent protests. Otherwise, it will have turned out to be riots. And riots we don't want.
Okay, now very, very briefly, for want of time.
Oh.
I've heard you say more than once that the protests should continue.
Yeah.
Do you think that protest has the capacity to achieve these desired results?
Yeah, thank you very much. Very briefly, protest was the reason why Babangida stepped aside. Protest was the reason why Abacha didn't have his way. Protest was the reason why Shonekan's government was declared illegal. Protest was the reason why the present system came to power and had to recognize June 12th as a democracy day. We had to confer GCFR on the late Abiola, who won that election. Protest is the reason why they have to cross-check policies and programs before they are implemented, and a lot of things. Protests achieve a lot of things. When you talk about subsidy removal, subsidy addition, trade liberalization, and all of that, protest has achieved it. So it's better you speak out, even within the corner of your own house, than for you to keep quiet and die, like a coward.
Thank you so very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Yes. Yeah. Right now, we'll be taking a break. We'll be back shortly with more for you. Do not go away.
Most people don't understand the magic of a perfect skin, the allure of a well-pampered skin. We bounce from skincare products to skincare products, from spa to spa. Looking for that ideal solution. I found the solution. And it's Blemiville Skincare and Spa. My name is Neil, and I'm proud to be a part of the Blemiville family.
Swift Dry Cleaners Limited, professional dry cleaners, best in dry cleaning and laundry services that meets the needs of our consumers. Yeah, Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Yeah, for clean wash and quick delivery. Yeah, Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. For clean wash and quick delivery.
Swift Dry Cleaners. Clean wash.
Mama, you're coming to Lagos. Banga. Baby, Mama just called me now. She's coming to see you. She asked me to tell you to make banga soup for her. And she's close to the house. Oh.
How do you expect me to prepare banga in just a few minutes?
I have a solution for you.
Really?
If you no sabi cook the banga, no go enter my family.
Pali banga is used in making other exotic dishes such as banga jollof rice, banga eforiro, banga asaro or yam porridge, banga egusi, and many more. Pali banga is easy to open, no preservatives, no cholesterol, and no coloring. Approved by NAFDAC. Manufactured by Pali Agro Products Limited. Available in all leading stores and supermarkets nationwide.
Pali Banga, natural palm fruit extracts for tasty African cuisine.
Good morning, Nigeria. Good morning, Michael. Good morning, Margaret. I do hope that your weekend was splendid. Let's not talk about how mine went. I think I wish at this point I could relive the weekend. It wasn't as splendid as I would say yours was possibly. But let's talk about the reasons why the weekend could have been more splendid. Yes, talk about sports. Definitely made the weekend something to talk about. Let me start off with Israel Adesanya and that UFC fight that happened that went down against Vettori. Yes, Max Vettori. Adesanya is still the undisputed champion. Why not? Let me announce Adesanya the way they would call him right there in the UFC, and still the undisputed champion is Israel Adesanya. Yes, he was able to do it over Max Vettori, and it's not the first fight he's having with Vettori. This is the second one. And it's interesting to see how, despite the challenges that Vettori brought his way, despite the tough talks that Vettori brought his way, Adesanya is still the man in charge of that his division. Yes, 10 wins and just a defeat he's recorded so far in the UFC, and his professional career about 22 bouts so far, and he's had just one defeat in his career. The others in the MMA, this one in the UFC. And Adesanya is still the man that should be feared. Yes, he will definitely have some challenges to come up later on, but like it stands right now, there is none other doing it better than the big man, Israel Easy Adesanya. Now let me move on and talk about some other things in the world of sports that made us merry over the weekend. It's the one involving Novak Djokovic. Yes, he got his number 19 over the weekend, and it was quite interesting to see that en route his victory right there in the French Open, the Roland Garros. Novak Djokovic was able to stop the man who we refer to as a king of clay. Talk about Rafael Nadal. It was an imperious semi-final game over the weekend. That one went down on Friday before Djokovic went on to defeat Tsitsipas in the final later on Sunday. It was quite interesting to see how Djokovic did it in style, and he's heading closer and closer to equaling the 20 Grand Slams being shared by Rafael Nadal and Roger Federer, the two men who have more Grand Slams than him right now. He's gotten number 19. The question right now is, can Djokovic go on and get number 20 for his career? Well, as it's looking right now, it's looking like Djokovic will definitely be equaling the record of those two big men. Now, let me move on from Djokovic and talk about the one that is going on right there in the world of football. Talk about the Euros Championship. Yes, the Euro 2020 Championship. It started over the weekend with Italy and Turkey 3-0 on Friday. Now let me talk about the one that possibly has been the biggest thing so far in the competition. It was about Christian Eriksen. He came this close to dying on Saturday when Denmark played Finland, and he collapsed on the pitch. It was quite interesting to see that despite his collapsing, his teammates did so well to ensure that the man did not pass on to glory. It was quite interesting to see all hands were on deck to see that a big footballer in the person of Christian Eriksen did not die after he collapsed on the pitch when Denmark were playing Finland. He was revived shortly before he was taken out of the pitch, and he's spoken to his teammates, he's spoken to everybody. At this point, we're expecting to see Eriksen back in action as soon as possible. That's all for now we have for you on the sports segment of this iBrand Daybreak. Michael, take over to you back.
Thank you so very much, Jidechi. Let's give it up for Israel Adesanya, doing Nigeria proud. And from the look of things, I think the sky's going to be his limit because he's got all it takes to be a champion. Wouldn't you think so?
Yes, definitely, Michael. I do think so. Israel Adesanya has got what it takes to be a champion. I guess that's why he's still the champion right there in the UFC.
So let him keep riding on. Thank you very much, Jidechi. Right now, we have the social media boss. Margaret?
Yes, social media boss. As usual, social media is buzzing, always buzzes, and would ever keep wasn't. Now, someone on social media shared a woman in Spain published a list of 15 people she would want at her burial. Very weird, yeah? And not one of her family members were listed anyway. So now on Facebook, some reactions on Facebook. Upoku Hannah said she must have her reasons. We like celebrating people when dead than when alive. Someone else said, Steve said, that's her wish and should be adhered to. Maybe no one cared about her when she was alive. Once dead, they will flaunt their hypocritical, teary face and agog with love adulations. Wicked world. Ogochukwu Claire said, some people bear that name family, but do not deserve being called family. For it to get that far, they must have wronged her so deeply. Madam, forget that list for now. You are not dying anytime soon. Oh well. Lucky Chukwuka said, Nigeria family members no go agree. Oh wow. Them go be like, what about the family food and drinks? Them no say them no go drag. Them get their family tag. Them no need to cook afternoon and evening food. If you show them this list on the burial day, them go be like, we die here. Oh well. Now, these are some of the reactions on Facebook. Michael, what do you think about people, briefly now, about people not caring when you are alive and when you're there, they start with their condolence messages and all of that drama?
Unfortunately, that is the norm.
Yeah.
And I really wonder if there is anything that could be done about it.
Well,
it's so unfortunate that's the case.
Actually, nothing can be done about it. I just try to appreciate people when they are alive and save yourself all the troubles of condolences when they are dead. That's if you've not appreciated them so much when they are alive, then there's no point bringing condolence messages. We have to wrap up the show now. We don't have so much time. I will leave you with a quote from Alexander Graham Bell. Says, concentrate all your thoughts upon the work in hand. The sun rays do not burn until brought to a focus. Take that again. It says, concentrate all your thoughts upon the work in hand. The sun rays do not burn until brought to a focus. So in all you do, concentrate on what you have at hand. Do not be distracted. Don't let Nigeria distract you. Don't even let the world distract you. And do not distract yourself. So we'll end this day. Tomorrow we have another interesting segment for you. There will be a repeat belt later for those who missed it. My name is Margaret Opara.
And I'm Michael North. See you tomorrow.